Hi, hello. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Sarah, and I also realized I haven't really done an introduction. So I am a uni student. Before anyone asks for the details, I'm in my third year of my business degree, getting a major in accounting with a minor in Chinese. And I spend most of my free time either reading or gaming, although K-pop is also a part of my life now. Welcome to the monthly reset. I would recommend grabbing a coffee, getting yourself ready, maybe even setting up your goals for the month or wrapping up the month that's just been. How was December for you guys? Spoiler alert, my December was insane. A quick rundown for those who haven't seen this format before, because I haven't actually seen a lot of people who do book content doing the haul, wrap up, TBR and non-book related stuff this way. So if you do know anyone who does, please link them down below, because I love content like this, which is why I'm excited to start making it. But essentially we will have this video broken up into 4 pieces, and the timestamps will be down below so you guys can skip around and see what interests you if you want. So we'll start off with what I read in December, what I hauled in December, my January TBR, and then my January plans and goals. And then whatever the last vlog of the month is, I will sort of do like a little wrap up on how I did with my TBR and my goals, or that'll fall into the next month's monthly reset. So yeah, grab a drink, get yourself comfortable, and let's get straight into it, because I think this is going to be a long one. Coffee acquired. If you see me using Carrie as a coaster for my coffee, no you didn't. Alright, so starting off, the first book of the month I read was Tokyo Ghoul RE Volume 9. So I'll just do a brief synopsis of the world, considering the fact that this is Volume 9 in the follow-on series to Tokyo Ghoul, so I don't want to ruin this for anyone who hasn't actually managed to start the manga. So this is set in a world where humans are trying to survive alongside ghouls, although they are constantly at war. Ghouls need to eat flesh to survive, and there is an organization created to take down ghouls. We follow sort of the war between the organization and the ghouls, and how long it goes, and the traumas that come from it. As always, this series is so good. I think overall the Tokyo Ghoul universe will always hold a very high place in my heart, because it was one of the first mangas I started with, and I've slowly been making my way through the second half. But I will say, if you are going to start the Tokyo Ghoul mangas, or maybe you'll agree if you've read them, they are the kind of series that you need to read consecutively together, because there's so many interweaving little hints and notes and things that make your experience so much better, but are so easy to forget about because there's always so much going on. So like, I don't read this one if I'm in the need of like a comfort or easy manga. Let's, leave it at that. This one got a 4-star from me. Right, next was Fish Swimming in Dappled Sunlight by Riku Onda. This was kindly sent to me by Alan and Unwin in exchange for an honest review. And so this is like a murder mystery where we follow 2 characters who live together, and they were both together with a hiking guide when this hiking guide died, and they believe each other to be the killer, and they want to spend one last night together before they move out and find out why the other person did it. I didn't love some of the things in here, however the plot twist did definitely get me, and this is a super short read, so I don't regret reading it at all. I just don't think it lives up to the Alsawa murders, her previous work. So 3 stars, which, a quick disclaimer to insert before we get into the reviews, I'm pretty generous with my ratings, so I'm just going to quickly run through them. So 1 star, I rarely give out. I have to absolutely loathe a book. 2 stars is I got through the book, but honestly I didn't enjoy it. There may have been like one redeeming thing about it. 2.5 star is it was okay. Like, it was fine, and I may recommend it to certain people, but that's it. 3 stars is my middle of the road. Everything about it was average, or it was great in some aspects and terrible in others, so it worked out average. 3.5 stars is pretty good, a little bit better. 4 stars is like when something's pretty good. I'm like quite happy I read it, and I'm like overall glad that I had that experience. 4.5 is when it's like a great read, and then I reserve my 5 stars for absolute top tier reads, which you can actually see some of the 5-star reads that I have had over the years up here. Sorry, you can't see the rest of them. So, book 3 is Blood of Elves by Andrzej Sapolsky. I think is how you say his name. I'm very sorry if not. This is the first full-length novel in the Witcher series. I read the novellas quite a while ago, and we followed Geralt and his child Surprise. Overall, this was like really great. It was a great fantasy setting, the characters were interesting, the plot was pretty good. However, the last 80 pages for some reason just went like way downhill for me. I had no interest and I found it really hard to keep reading. So that brought this down to a 3.5 stars for me. My Hero Academia volume 16. This is one of my comfort reads and I had a really good time. This volume sort of starts, I wouldn't say it starts a new arc, but like an event that we've been leading up to starts here. And it's just so good. But again, I don't want to spoil anything, so if you don't know anything about the series, we follow a main character called Izuku who is quirkless in a world of people who have quirks. He is then bestowed a very important quirk and he has to learn how to use it and also go to a school for kids with quirks who want to become heroes. It's very wholesome. It's got like wholesome moments, superhero moments, funny moments, action. I just really love it. It's one of those great series to pick up when I just want something comforting and easy to read. And so, 4 stars for this one. Alright, next up is Cult Trip by Anki Richter. This was kindly sent to me by HarperCollins in exchange for an honest review, and this one was not the one for me. I think other people may like this more than me, but I just did not gel with this. So I read a lot of true crime and I've seen a lot of true crime shows as well. I'm like familiar with what to expect, but this just wasn't it for me in terms of how some of the things were handled and the level of depth some things that I feel were given was unnecessary. I feel like we could have done without some of the things in here. So this is all about the author going in to investigate 3 different cults that she has, by one way or another, come to know about. And you get very deep into what's going on in the cult and some of the trauma that they cause. So I would not recommend this to people who have trauma relating to anything to do with cults or sexual assault. Either way, this was a 2.5 stars for me. Next up, Tokyo Ghoul RE Volume 11. Already gave you the spiel before, so I'll just give you the rating for this one, which was 4 stars. Next, same thing, different series. My Hero Academia Volume 17. Volume 17. So, same thing as before, 4 stars for this one. Next, Sayaka Murata Life Ceremony. Loved the first story in this collection. It's pretty meh on the rest. This was sent to me by the publishers, and I think the only way I can describe this is all kinds of weird. Each story stands on its own, besides I believe 2 stories are actually interconnected. They're all weird. The first one I really liked, but yeah, the rest, they just weren't it for me, or I didn't really understand what they were trying to do. But if you like her other work, I think people will really like this one still. So this got a 2.5 star rating from me as well. Time for my favorite book of the month and my only 5 star rating, which was Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0. Sorry, I suppose you can see the ring light and some of the reflections. Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0. So this takes place before Volume 1 and the series occurs, and it lets you meet some of the side characters and see their plots and their dynamics and like how they came to be who they are in the series to some degree. This was amazing. I absolutely loved every single moment of it. I previously had only read Volume 1 and I never continued. Regrets, because as soon as I read this I went and ordered Volume 2 and 3. It was that good. Quick overview for people who don't know about Jujutsu Kaisen, which I feel like everyone does now, but in case. This is a manga where we follow Yuji, our main character, who was a high school student who then swallowed a curse to save his friends and to help save the world. Before he swallowed the curse, he was just a normal kid, and now he has to learn how to use cursed energy and fight off these curses that are like these horror-esque drawings. And it's amazing. It is horror, but there's like humor, and the characters are amazing. Just 5 stars all around for this, and I think the whole series overall is going to become one of my favorites. The Mist by Ragnar Johansson. This was interesting. So the things that I did like was the setting and the fact that there was dual timelines that you could see slowly coming to converge until the end when they did. Those 2 things were done amazingly. but the actual mystery I wasn't very interested in. And overall I flew through this because like it was easy brain candy. Like it wasn't doing much for me, so it was easy to just keep going. But I did read this in like practically one sitting, so that's obviously a benefit for it. But yes, so this won't be super memorable, but I'm still glad I read it. 3 stars for that one. And then again, more Tokyo Ghoul RE volume 11. This one is 4.5 stars because of one specific scene right in the middle. If you know, you know, and yeah, it was beautiful. Then Black Paradox by Junji Ito. This was kindly sent to me in exchange for an honest review by HarperCollins New Zealand. I gave this one 3.5 stars. So this was more sci-fi-y than horror to me, and like the overall idea and concept was like gross, and some of the imagery there's a big warning for trypophobia, and if you're not comfortable with people planning to kill themselves, probably not for you. But I feel like we all know that Junji Ito's works comes with a lot of trigger warnings. Wasn't my favorite. Some of the art was great, and like the overall story was so thought-provoking and like fucked up, but I just walked away like enjoying it and really glad I read it. But I think more about Liminal Zone, his other work that I've read, than I will think about this one, which is why it's only a 3.5. We're nearly there. Yeah, I'm still going. Safe to say December was my best reading month by a landslide. I do not normally ever read this much. Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stevada. I read this over the course of like 4 or 5 days and I loved it. If you don't know about the Raven Cycle, it is the perfect blend between like a poetic book and just your normal book. It's a YA fantasy that doesn't feel the same as most YA fantasies I've read, and I've read a lot of them. But we follow 4 teenagers who have met, who all have very different pasts and personalities, and they're trying to wake a dead Welsh king. It's fantastic. This is the 3rd book in the series. I only have 1 more to go, and I have heard that the next series is good as well, so I may have to look at continuing on to that. But 4 stars for this one. I really enjoyed my time with it. My last novel of the year, Final Girls by Riley Sager. So I have read quite a few of Riley Sager's works. One of them I adored, another one was really good, and the other one was like eh, and this one was really eh. I gave this 2 stars. So we follow this character who is a final girl. She survived a killing, and then one of the other final girls that she knows of dies, and she meets the 3rd final girl, and we sort of follow the mystery revolving around all 3 final girls, how one of them died, how the other one found her. And while the plot twists were surprising to me because I didn't see them coming, I think I would have seen them coming if I wasn't interested enough to pay attention, because this took me 3 months to finish. So that shows you my level of interest, you know? I don't know, I hated so many of the characters. I found everything to just be very bland. This was just like your bland classic would pick up like $1 paperback cheap fiction, you know? So like it's fine. It just, yeah, it wasn't great. Then my last read for the year was Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1. So I read this back in 2021, and I gave it the same rating this time as I did back then, which was 4 stars. This was great. It didn't hold my heart as much as Zero. I was wondering after reading Zero if my rating would increase. It didn't, but I'm still really glad I read it and very excited to continue with the series. So that's that. There's a mess down at my feet, but that was 15 books, which if I believe I am correct, it is 8 manga and 6 novels. That's insane. I do not normally read that much. It does help that I am just taking 1 class over summer instead of my normal 3 to 4 in a semester, so I think that is helping. But don't expect my reading months to be this big ever again. Time for the haul. We will be going in reverse order because my pile is in reverse order. My most recent book, and probably the last book I'll be hauling in 2022, is I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki. which is by Bookish. I've been thinking about getting this on and off, on and off, on and off, and then someone said it was on sale at a local retailer, and it was, and then someone else reminded me that RM from BTS recommended this, and I was like, I am weak, and I brought it. So I brought this. I know it's like a non-fiction recounting of the author's therapy sessions, but that's all I know. Then next is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke and Other Misfortunes by Eric LaRocca. I have been waiting for this one so much, so thank you to New South Books for sending this my way. I am so excited to get to this in the new year. This is a collection of short horror stories, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about this author. A disclaimer about my haul and for my TBR, I won't be giving you guys like what this book is about because I really like to go into my books blind. So like when I'm requesting or purchasing the books, I will do my research, but then after that I just like try to wipe my mind of what it is. Do you know what I mean? So sorry in advance. Next, Kaiju number 8 by Nadia Matsumoto. This I picked up originally solely because I was like interested in it and I needed to bulk up my cart to get free shipping. And then I started seeing it everywhere. And then Natalie, who is someone whose reviews I trust, said that this is kind of like Attack on Titan, but less heartbreaking, older, and a little bit funnier. And I was like, I need that in my life. So I'm really glad I got this. Then I picked up volumes 19 and volume 20 of My Hero Academia. I have up to volume 18 currently, so I needed to get a few more volumes in quickly. And then next, for a Christmas present, I got Leech. I'm so thankful for this. This is from Ali, who also runs Oasis Scents, which are the candles you can see everywhere behind you. She's a lovely friend, and she saw that I wanted this book and I was like looking at it, but I refused to buy it because it was so expensive. And then she went back and brought it for me and wrapped it up for me for Christmas. My heart. Anyway, this is, what I know of this is it's set in like a cold place and the medical person dies, so this institute has to send more people in, but the institute is also keeping secrets, and I think they have something to do with like leeches and like body horror. The book that I was gifted by a friend is Picnic in the Storm by Yukika Motoya. This was from Bailey. She got this from her friend and then passed it on to me, so it's like a little traveling book, and I'm so excited to read this. It is short Japanese fiction. Stuart Trenton, The Devil and the Dark Water. The size of this put me off a bit, but then someone said it was like Agatha Christie meets Pirates of the Caribbean, and I didn't know I needed that in my life until I heard that, and then I immediately needed it in my life. The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I do own My Heart is a Chainsaw, but this is the one that I wanted to read the most because I've heard how good it is and I just want to be scared. So, Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. This is the second book in the Fitzpatrick trilogy. You can't see book 1 because it's like literally right there. I read book 1 years ago. I loved it. I kept thinking about it and how I wanted to continue it. So I finally got the next book. Alright, my last two. Next is Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. It's so floppy, like this is sort of like a history book all about the older times in this world. I don't like how slow his writing can be. I was really interested in this one, and then I read the first page not long after I got this, and I was just hooked instantly. So I have a really good feeling about this one. And then the last book that I have to haul for 2022 is Novelist as a Vocation by Haruki Murakami. I've read so many of his books. I love so many of his books. This was great. I have read this already. I'm hauling it in December, but I read it in November. I read it in the last few days of November, so it missed out on going in my haul for Instagram and that. But this was great. 4 stars, and definitely something I might read again one day. The end papers have the designs from some of his novels, and it's just beautiful. So that's December, done and dusted. It's nearly 10 a.m. on the 31st of December 2022. in 14 hours time from recording this right now, we'll be in a new year. That's wild. But let's focus in then on the new stuff. I have my journals, which if you want to see the setup of either of these, they are linked down below, and you can also find them quite easily on my channel because I haven't uploaded a lot yet. But since we're talking about books, let's start with books. So because it's the new year, I thought I would quickly get out some of the new year reading goals because I don't know when else I would. So my reading goal is to read 52 books, 1 book a week. That's sort of always my standard. But my 3 proper goals is I want to get my backlist TBR, so books owned before 2023, under 75. It's currently at 100 exactly. Get my manga backlist TBR under 30, which it currently is 42, so that'll be easy. And then the third one is to catch up to current publication of or finish 5 series. So those are my reading goals for the year. The goal is to read 4 novels and 4 manga and make progress on at least 1 series. Maybe not finish it, but like read the next installment, you know? And in terms of languages, so I won't go into my yearly goals because they are broad, but we did go over all of those in my setup. So let's just do my quarter 1 goals, since I would like to have them on here to be accountable. So for quarter 1, I want to finish Me in Korean 1 workbook and textbook, attend 6 italki lessons with Yuhan, attend 2 lectures of my university Mandarin classes, revise all my past Mandarin classes before I start back at the end of February, and also play around with apps and try and find an app that actually works for me because I need that daily interaction with the language. In January, that breaks down to 2 italki lessons, revise all of last year's content that I learned for Mandarin, finish Talk to Me in Korean textbook, and then play with a Hangugo app. I don't really have any big goals, do I? So January is actually the only month in the upcoming while where I don't have anything planned. February, March, April, and then June all have an event that I need to go to, one each month, which is weird to have things planned already. So you'll hear more about all that in upcoming videos, but for now, that's it. Which means it's time to move on to the TBR for January. And I've been biting at the bit to try and start some of these books right now. So let's get into it. So as I said, my goals were 4 manga, 4 novels, and to work on 1 challenge, which this TBR pile achieves. So I'm just going to pull from the top and go from there. The first thing on my TBR is something we have already seen, and that is things have gotten worse since we last spoke and other misfortunes. Because this is a review copy, I do want to get to it soon, and also I'm just very excited for this one. So as soon as this came in, I was like, let's jump into the top of it. And then all my manga is next, so let's just get that out of the way. To no one's surprise, My Hero Academia Volume 18. I want to keep going with this. I do want to catch up with current publication, but I also don't because I always want there to be more content to consume. Does that make sense? The one surprise for manga that maybe you didn't see coming is Cardcaptor Sakura Volume 3. This is one of the omnibus editions. This show was my childhood. I used to make my grandmother record the episodes that played while I was at school on our VCR. It was amazing. So potentially the first novel that I will be picking up this month is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is a retelling of the fall of the House Usher, and it's meant to be sort of body horror and creepy and just a great setting and atmosphere, so I am down for that. The other book that I will be starting tomorrow bright and early, Prairie of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. You could get a workout with this book. I think we all know about this book. It's like 700 and something pages, but I've had it on my TBR since 2019, and I've been intimidated since 2019. My friend wanted to buddy read this in preparation for the next book that's coming out, the sequel, and so I was like, you know what, I need the motivation, so why not? And I've already got my bookmarks ready to go. Then the last novel that I plan to start and finish is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I picked this up because of the hype and because I wanted retail therapy. I wanted retail therapy and this was hyped and the cover was pretty, and so I did it. But then I opened up the first page, which is a note from the author's agent, and it's like saying that they just received this novel and like going on about it. And I was like, oh. And there's just something about a book that is fiction pretending to be non-fiction, like as if someone else has passed it on. Like, it gives me found footage vibes, and found footage is my favorite horror genre. So whenever I see that kind of thing in a book where it's like people trying to work out what happened, it's even better. But even just like having that forward, I'm sold. So I read that by accident and I was like, it's coming with me onto the TBR. And then the last book I do intend to start, but I do not intend to finish. I mean, if I do, amazing, but also December was like an insanely good month and I don't think I'll read as many books as I did then again. So I'm intending to start The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have never read the series. I have never watched the film from beginnings to end and like paid attention. I have been in the room while the films have been on and stuff. Haven't like actively watched them. And this edition is beautiful. It's got some really beautiful end pages. And first of all, social media has been bullying me because I'm constantly seeing memes for Lord of the Rings everywhere and I love them so much. And I think I just kind of like have fallen in love with the world through social media and like how people perceive it. And I do own the whole trilogy. So I was saying to my friend, like, I think I'm going to finally make 2023 the year I read it. And then Bailey said, well, The Hobbit is my favorite. So if you go to start with The Hobbit, let me know and we'll buddy read it. And I said, please. That's it. I am surrounded by a mess of books that I now have to put away. December was so good to me. January is shaping up to be good to me and I'm just excited. So yeah, I think that's it for today's video. Let me know down below if you have read any of the books on my TBR or that I hauled, what you thought of them. And if you've read any of the ones that I read, did we have the same rating? Did we think the same things? I don't know, but let me know. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and thank you for ending out my 2022 with 80 subscribers when I only started uploading videos like a couple of weeks ago. I'm blown away and I'm so incredibly thank you. So thank you to every person who likes, subscribes and comments. All of that brings me so much joy and it really means a lot. Here's to 2023 being better. See you then.